Arizonans for Children, and this is the 7th video in our September series. Today we'll be discussing on-site visits, which, as a reminder, simply means that you're going to your mentee's placement and staying there to do activities together. In the past, I've mentioned that children don't typically like these visits as much because they really do want to get out of the house, but we're still dealing with heat and limitations due to COVID, so these visits are certainly better than no visit at all. On-site visits may not be a good option for everyone, and it will really depend on your mentee's placement type, but I'll talk more about that in just a minute. As usual, everything that we discuss today will be in your next newsletter. I'll be going over a few activity ideas, but first I want to discuss some tips and things to keep in mind if you're planning on-site visits. The first thing you always want to do when planning these on-site visits is to coordinate with the caregiver. There's a few reasons for this, but mostly you want to make sure that they can accommodate what you're trying to do. For example, you should definitely expect distractions, especially if your mentee is in a group home. So consider whether a lot of noise or children coming up to you might be a distraction for what you're trying to do. And if so, see if the caregiver can give you a private area. Also, if you wanted to use something like the kitchen, for example, you'll just want to let them know ahead of time and make sure they can accommodate that. On the topic of other kids, you should definitely consider whether or not you want the other children involved in what you're doing. Your mentee may want one-on-one time, or you may not feel comfortable managing certain activities with multiple children. So if you're not able to get a private space, you may need to adjust your plans. If you don't mind other kids jumping in, but you're not sure you can handle everything by yourself, just check with the caregiver to see if they can assist and make sure they know what's happening ahead of time. I've had more than a few mentors reach out to me because they're concerned that they're not doing enough with their mentee. This is something that happens even outside of our current situation, and the best advice I have is to focus on what you can do, not what you can't. Of course, your mentee would probably love to get out of the house right now, and honestly, they may be a bit bummed that they can't, but that doesn't mean your time with them isn't special. And as I mentioned before, these visits are definitely better than no visits at all. Creating a scrapbook with your mentee is a great project because it can be as simple or creative as you would like it to be. I think this would be a nice project for many kids because usually they don't get phones until they're around 14 or older, and they don't always have a lot of space in their rooms. So they may not have a way to save or display many photos. Having a scrapbook is a great way for them to revisit special moments. I've talked about cooking or baking a few times, but depending on your mentee's placement, this might be pretty tough to do. Decorating cookies or something similar might be a lot easier. You can pick up plain sugar cookies, some icing, and a few sprinkles and just have a lot of fun with it. This activity is a great way to involve other children in the home if that's something you and your mentee would like to do. Personally, I love Minute to Win It games. I do them regularly and they're always a blast. You can play so many games with very common and cheap household items. They are no mess, easy to prepare, and can be adjusted to fit any age level. This is another activity that would be easy to do with other children if you wanted to. I think that doing a project with plants is great for a wide range of kids, and it's very easy to make it as simple or creative as you want. You could create a little garden in part of the yard or find a small plant to keep inside. If you and your mentee like being creative, you can decorate the flower pot and make it truly unique. This will definitely depend on your mentee's placement, of course, but again, you can always run it by the caregiver for input. These ideas are just a few of many things you can do, and I hope they help inspire you to come up with ideas that you and your mentee would enjoy. There are truly so many options, so I encourage you to be creative and try something new. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.